I'm a noob at this, I've never done it before. Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. That's a start. Alright, if you've used Photoshop before, this is what it looks like. This is what I'm going to be using. Can you hear me now? So, there are 3 versions of this. This is not a free version, but there are ones. If you go on the internet, there's a site called photopea.com, and it is pretty much the exact same, and you can just use that instead. But basically how I've done it is I've opened up Photoshop, and I'll go and I'll create a new project. Alright, so when you're making a thumbnail, you can do, generally it doesn't matter, as long as it's a 16:9 ratio, but I like to do 720p, so that's 720 pixels in height, and 1280 pixels in width, so just make sure you got that, and keep it at resolution 72 before you start to make it. Then just leave the colour, that's fine. Then click create. Okay, so now we have a very plain looking background, but basically my video for next week is going to be, well, I'll try not to spoil it too much, but basically the idea is it's going to be in the Parliament, and the members of Parliament there, the MPs, are gonna start raving to the coffin dance. So I could go in here, but what I'll do is you can go in here to Premiere Pro, and you can just take a screenshot by using this from it. But what I could do is I could take a screenshot from the video, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot from the original source, something like well, we'll use this one as like a background one, and then we'll find another one of somebody's face, because an important thing is in thumbnails is always to have somebody's face in it, and like them thinking a certain, like reacting in a certain way. I'll just name this Alright, it's lagging a lot, but pick up. Right, so now we're just going to go through this video, try and find somebody's face, maybe, hopefully something that's somewhat amusing or somewhat relevant to dancing, because that's what in the video. You've probably seen a lot of Boris Johnson in my latest videos, but it's just because the idea was to do sort of different stuff that's on the TV, I guess, for this sort of spring thing, and pretty much everything is Boris Johnson lately. I guess he's Prime Minister here, over in I'll just take this image because this will do. So now I'm going to go back over to Photoshop, and I'll open open each of those photos. So they're going to come into their own project, but that doesn't matter. So we'll go here, files was. And the other one, so file open. The other one was thumbnail background, I'm pretty sure. No, background was background. And now, so that I can take this and put it into the other one, I'm going to select everything, and to select everything I can go Control A, or I can just click select all, and then I'm going to copy it. So I'm going to press the shortcut Control C. I'll go over here into, this is our main project here, and go Control V. And there I've got it, but as you can see it's quite small, so I'll make it bigger so that it fits. It used to be that you would have to have shift so that it wouldn't mess up, to like maintain the same aspect ratio. But in this new version of the software you don't have to do that, you just so that'll approximately do as a background. I can like cross that off now. Now I'm going to go here and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'll go select all, then I'm going to press Control and C, then go over to our main project here and do Control and V. Now I can cross that off. So basically we don't want this ugly looking background thingammy behind Boris, so we're going to cut him out. And there's different ways that you can use the polytagonal lasso tool, which is what I use. You can use the lasso tool. You can use the quick selection tool, which very quickly selects an area, but I don't like to use that because it creates quite a rough edge, which is bad for this. You can also do the pen tool. The pen tool is quite hard to do, and a more complex thing, which I can't be bothered explaining right now. So this is the slow and boring part. I've basically got to go in and cut around Boris Johnson. As you can see, it basically goes in straight lines, and you can see what I'm doing. I'm basically just clicking, letting go, and then clicking again when I get to the point that I want to do. So I'm just going around him, basically surrounding him. Just clicking, letting go, clicking, letting go. Gotta go all the way around him. Okay, so now that I've got to the end, what I can do is I can either just go up here and click the circle, or I can just go here and double click, and that'll mean that it'll make a straight line between the point that I'm at and the very end. So I'll just do that. So that's me double clicked, and you see you've got basically this sort of moving line thing around him. So this is quite an important part, so I'm going to use a shortcut called Control J. Well, basically I hold down Control and J. There we go. And you see, basically what I've got is I've got two separate layers here. So if I take this one out here, you can see that I've cut out Boris Johnson. So I'll just click on that layer and select delete. Okay, so I can see that the edge is a bit dodgy up here, so I just gotta go over that. And normally with this, you get bits that look a bit not so great, so you just gotta go in and clear it out. Oh, undo. and delete. And now we just have to deselect that area. Right. So to go out and in, to zoom in and out, what I'm doing is I'm going Control minus and Control plus, like that. Alright, so now I want to move them about, so I'm going to use a different tool, which will be the move tool. So I'll put them down here, because I don't want that little brand thing. There you go, now I've got that. And throughout this video, we basically have them dancing, and we also have like coloured lights sort of flashing on them. I don't know, just to make it more interesting to watch, because I thought, you know, even if they are dancing, I don't know, it just looks a bit dull. So I had lights going on flashing, but what I'll actually do is I'll get a totally separate image of lights. So I'll just go here to Google. It's slow. So I'll search in, I don't know, concert lights. I'll search that in. Go to images. Let's get it with the green screen, because that saves us work, so that we don't have to cut it out. So let's go to here. Alright. There. So this one here at the top left is pretty much what we want. It'll do, and you see it's actually got the same aspect ratio is what I recommended. So I just go copy image, just normal copy and pasting, you know. Then I'll go to here, so you've got the different layers, and I'll select on this layer, and then I'm going to paste. So to paste, I just press Control and then V, and there you go. I've got some really ugly looking green stuff in the background, but it's easy to remove the green screen. In fact, it's actually better in video editing softwares normally than this, but basically, so what I did there is I go to select and then color range. I'll do that again just so you can see it properly. So select, color range, and then I'm gonna basically use this eyedropper tool to choose the colour that I want to take out. So just make sure I'm definitely selected on this green screen. Then I can choose pretty much how much of this. So you can see that the white is what is selected. I don't want to basically select the green screen so that I can delete that. So now that's about it. So now you can see the lines going around it just as earlier. So I'll just press the delete button, not backspace, just delete. And it doesn't look too rickety, but it'll do for the moment, because I can like change the colour. I think I'll put this on top of Boris Johnson just because, so we can see it. Right. Let's angle this about. So I'm just using this move tool to rotate it a bit, and actually that looks bad. Right. So basically I moved it about there, and we've sort of went into sort of this transform mode that Photoshop does. But I've just got to click tick, or I can press enter at the top, and I'll put this behind Boris Johnson. You see here, this is just like the layer order. So whatever's at the top here is what's in front here. So I'll just pull that down. And now what I can do is, same as I did earlier, I can duplicate this. So I'll do press Control and then press J. And now I've got two of these. I can sort of just see if I can, like, if I want to move these about a bit. Right, so I've got these sorts of two sets of lights, and they're both green, and I don't want them to be both green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, and Hue Saturation. And adjusting the hue basically means you can change the colour here. So, I don't know, sort of purple I could try, or blue. I'll wait for this to catch up, then tell me in the live stream, in the live chat, what colour you think it should be. What colour do you think I should make this light? I don't know what colour would look better. So sort of looks sort of purpley. I don't know, blue. I don't want it to be green. We should have it a different colour, right? We can make it sort of red. If we want to make it like, we can increase the saturation, which is basically, if it's low saturation, that means it's totally black and white. And if it's high saturation, then it's like basically really bright. And then the lightness is basically how much white it is versus how much black it is. Can you imagine? So make that a little bit darker. Do you want it red? Does that look better? I don't know. I'll just go for yellow, I think, and then I'll do one more, and I'll make that one blue. So I just did the same thing, so just press Control and then J. Then I'll go over here. I want this one to be on the very bottom. And now I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation, and I'll just make this one blue. There. I mean, that doesn't look very good. Because they're sort of like in a row and ugly. I'll do for now. Get that a bit bigger. The same, right. So we've got this sort of colourful-ish background of the lights, which will hopefully create the vibe that we're aiming for of this sort of concert dance party, same as the coffin. And now we're going to need to have obviously the coffin dancers in there somehow. So let's get an image, probably that classic one of them when they're walking down the road with the coffin. Stay home or dance with us. I mean, it wouldn't be that bad dancing with them. Right. So now I'm gonna paste it into here. So I've just copied it, and I'm just gonna use the same shortcut, Control V. And now I've got this, and I'm gonna have to do the same thing as I did with Boris Johnson. Oh. So I'll just unsee the Boris Johnson. You see the little eye? If I just take that out, then I'll unsee Boris Johnson. And by the way, this is all like the exact same in Photopea. So if you're wondering how to access that, the free version of Photopea, of Photoshop, it's called Photopea, then basically go to www.photopea, which is photopea.com. So that's if you want to get basically Photoshop for free. So now I'm going to select this out using a different technique. So you see it's a plus right now, so that's basically what I want to add to the selection. So I want to add these people who are in the foreground, so these men who are carrying the coffin. But I don't want to have the background, so I'm just going to select as much of this as possible. So you can see I've selected a bit too much over there and also down here, and I've not quite selected all of that, so I'll select all of that, and now we'll just go to the minus tool, and basically I don't want that in, so I'll just do that, and you can see it's sort of guessing, sort of working out where the lines are. I'm just sort of guiding it a bit. And this is just if you want to get quite an approximate job, because as you can see, it just doesn't look that accurate. So I'm going to do the same thing. I just do Control and then J, so I just have the selection. You see, now there's no more of that background. So I'll just go there and then press delete that layer. Now I can re-see Boris Johnson, so I can see this in relation. So I've got the coffin dancers. I'm going to go and use the move tool again, so I can make them small and in the background. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in front of Boris Johnson so that they're small and in the foreground like that, just to, I don't know, just to do something different. See what that looks like. Does that look horrible? I don't even know. And now the thing is, in the title I want to say something that people will be able to search in, and in the thumbnail I want to put something that will make them think that this is the right video, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. So I'll just go to write text. So I'll to write the text, I'll just have to go over here. You see the T for text. I mean, it's the same in everything, so you should know that. Wait for this to sort itself out, right? It's taken a really long time to load. It often does with text. It does the same thing in Premiere Pro. So you can see here, it's automatically gone to the text Baybath, and that's because I use this text all the time. I think it's it's like my favorite text. It's nothing like big or anything like that. It's nothing like fancy. It's just sort of simple and quite good. So I'll put here something like, I don't know, let's put rave for the sake of things. Let's put R-E-V. There we go. And that's probably not the colour that we want to go for. Generally you want like the text to be sort of quite a light colour. White is a good one, but I think I'm going to go for something more colourful because of this colourful theme. So just click that, and I'll go to the text tool so that I can edit the text rather than just move it about. And now select all of it, and to select all I'm just going to hold down Control and then A, and then I'll go here, choose the colour, I mean, you know, and I mean, let's go through. So do we want it like this sort of colour, this pink? Don't think it's that great. I think an orange might look sort of good. So the background right now, you can't see it properly, but I'm going to sort that out in a minute. Don't worry about that. I think that the orange probably suits this quite well. So I'm going to go back to select the move tool. And now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to change this writing into being like an image of writing rather than being actual writing. So right now I can go back in and I can change the text, and I can, and it'll make that a B instead of an A. Obviously I don't want to do that, but I can do that. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the move tool. I'm going to go over here to the layer. You can see it's the top layer, but you can see it's the T. That's because it's a text layer, and whereas the rest of these are all images. So I'm going to right click there, and I've got all these options. So I'm going to go into rasterize type. If it's like a rectangle, you do the same thing, but it's like rasterize shape. So I'm going to do rasterize type, and rasterize just means it turns straight into a normal image. Alright, so that means that now I can't go in and I change it, what the lettering says or what the font is or anything like that. The computer, the Photoshop just sees it as a normal image. So now I'm going to do something to all of these things, which is pretty much done in like every single scammy YouTube thumbnail. And of course that's why I use it. So we'll go to layer, layer style, and then we go to stroke. I'm not going to give it a stroke, I'm going to draw a line around the outside, but it's called a stroke in Photoshop. Right, so you can see it's a black line. I can change the opacity, so how well I can see it, whether it's just like that. And I can change the size. Obviously that looks quite horrible right now. I like to keep my opacity right up at the top when I'm doing a stroke. I think about size 15 will probably look about right on this. And I could do, say, white stroke, but I'm just going to keep this one black right now. Now, we see the stroke, it's not being counted inside that, and that's because it's seen as a separate thing. But what we can do is we can make the stroke become part of the image by going here and rasterizing the layer style. And now, before we do a second layer style, which we will, I'm going to go to Boris Johnson, and basically he's not standing out very much. So before we actually add a stroke or any layer style to Boris Johnson, I'm going to make him stand out more by adjusting these things. So I'll go to adjustments, brightness, contrast. I'll make him slightly brighter, I'll make him more contrast. So the thing is, if you do too much of these things, you know, it obviously looks horrible like that, or like this. I mean, I don't know, I guess the sort of thing you would have in a YTP to make it look a bit more thingy, but generally we're just trying to make things stand out. Remember we used the hue saturation tool earlier, so we can just increase the saturation just a little bit, maybe a little bit more lightness. Oh, not that much more. Just to try and make it so that it's not hiding away in the background, because when you have a little dark thing in the background, it just doesn't look nice. Well, I mean, it doesn't not look nice, you can't see it properly, like. So, now, so that he stands out properly from his background, I'm going to add a layer style. So I'm going to go layer style, you see from here, and choose the stroke option. Alright, so I could do that, but I actually think it would look better if I put a white stroke around him. You see that? And now we'll make that slightly smaller. Now I'm going to do the same thing, where I right click on it, and then I choose the rasterized layer style to make that white outline become part of the Boris Johnson image. And now that means I can't change that separately, it just sees that all as one combined thing. And now I go to, because that's white, to make a contrast with the background, I'm going to do something which is more black. So I'm going to do a drop shadow. So I've done the same thing, I've went layer style, and I've, instead of choosing stroke, I've chosen a drop shadow. And the thing is with the drop shadow, you can make it look like it's an actual shadow on an actual thing, where you have it coming out the side. So that's by adjusting the distance, like that, and then adjusting the angle, so that's like the side which you want it to come out at. But what I'm wanting to do right now, I'm not going to do that at all, so I'll take the distance right down to its bottom. And now I've got some different controls here, but don't worry about them too much. Don't adjust the noise, just keep the noise right down at the bottom. It doesn't make any sounds to it, because I don't think you can even do sound in Photoshop. It basically makes it look dotty, which looks sort of ugly, so just forget about all of these things. Oh man, go away. Right, sorry about that. It's expensive, right? So I've got the same adjustment here where I can adjust the opacity, so you see, if it's bottom opacity, you can't see it at all. You increase the opacity, it basically becomes sort of like that, you can see it better. So you can adjust the spread and you can adjust the size. The size is just what it sounds like. You make it spread further, yeah? The spread basically makes it thicker. So if the spread is at the top, then it looks pretty much like a stroke. You see, I mean, that's what it looks like at top spread and top opacity. I don't know. It doesn't look too great, but I'm going to take down the size a bit and just adjust this so that we've just got, just to clearly separate bar shots enough. Obviously that's a horribly big, thick, black thing that's too much, so we'll reduce it a little bit, decrease the size, increase the spread. So you have lots of options. Like every time I do this, I always like do the sort of different adjustments in that depending on what I feel like doing to try and create the best look. Right, now I'm not gonna do any outline strokes on the coffin dancers. However, I am gonna do a shadow just so that they stand out. Oh, made a bit of a mess up on his face. Oh well. So I'm gonna go again, layer style, and go to drop shadow. I think I'll do the same thing, except I'll reduce the size a bit more, reduce the spread a bit more, and increase the opacity a little bit, just to give it that look that I want it to have. And you can see now, it's sort of unlike before. You see, when I take off the preview here, when I untick that box, it sort of falls in the image, whereas when I do this, it sort of stands out a lot more. Right, so now I just press OK to finish that. Right, so this rave up here, I'm gonna see how it looks to have another stroke. So layer style, and stroke. Just see if we want maybe even just a small one. In fact, you know what? I think I'm not gonna do. I think I'm not gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do instead, so go to layer style, and then I'll give it an outer glow. So because that's black, if I do a drop shadow, it's gonna sort of blend in and not look very nice. It's gonna look kind of ugly. So I'm gonna do an outer glow, and that'll really contrast with it. When you're doing this, if you want to get more accuracy, then you can still zoom in by pressing Control plus and Control minus like this, so you can go closer in, Control and plus, Control and minus. It's just that same thing, right? So now I'm going to adjust this. So you can see right now the opacity is at 0, so you can't see the effect. Right, that's what it's like at top opacity. It's red. Do we want a red? Say in the chat here. Increase the spread a little bit, decrease the size. In fact, let's take the spread right down. And let's take the opacity to a level that we want. Right, I don't know what colour we should do. I think, right, I think maybe a blue would look good. No, that's ugly. Maybe a green actually. I think a green will look sort of decent. Yeah. All right. So we've sort of got an all right looking thumbnail here. I don't know, it's not the best, but I've never done a live stream before, so this is all a bit of a new thing to me. But even though I've not done a great job, I think I've pretty much covered most of the different things that I use here. I'm just going to do one more thing to the background, so I'm going to unsee this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. So now we can just see the background. Obviously, like, the background's not going to be very seen, but it's always good to just pay attention to detail and everything anyway. So we'll just make sure that I'm selected on the layer. And now I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. So image, adjustments, hue saturation, and basically make this look really, really horrible, because I don't really want it to look like Parliament. And then choose a colour. I don't think the green looks very good in the background, although Alright, Sure, let's go for that. And now we've got this really ugly, weird looking thing. You might be thinking, why the hell would I want that in the background? So basically, this is going to be used to draw the attention to the right point. And I think the point that we're going to want to bring it to will be the writing saying rave. So just unsee these two things. So we're going to go to filter, blur, radio blur. I'm going to do that again because that was the correct thing. So go to filter. See down here blur. There's some good different tools in here. You can see the liquify tool is there. I use that a lot, but not in this image. And then we'll go down and select the radial blur. As you can see right now, there's this sort of spinny thing. We don't want that. We want to just choose zoom. Don't bother about making it look too good or anything like that. Now we're going to make it go over to rave, and we'll just take that right up to 100, or maybe a little bit less. There we go. And you can see, because I chose the draft option, it actually looks quite rustic, but I kind of like that look. So I just made that a little bit bigger so that the attention is going right towards the rave. I'm not sure actually if this will probably just look better without the lights. I don't know, maybe you could say. I think the lights make it worse. So even though I put in those lights there, I'm going to keep the lights out. So I'm just going to go to delete the different layers. Just select the level you want to delete to this one here. The same as we did before. Click that. Aye. You can also do it just by pressing the delete button once you're selected on the layer, but that. So I don't know. I think that's pretty much us now. So to finish off and to make this into an image that you can upload as a thumbnail, just go to File, Export, and Save for Web Legacy. In Photopea, I'm pretty sure you go to File and Export, and you just choose something like as a flat image or something like that. It doesn't say Save for Web Legacy though, so just be warned. It'll be a similar thing though, where you basically, once you've done that, it takes you to this page where you get to choose the functions. So we want it to be exported in 720 by 1280, as I said before, as we were starting it off, and then all of this is fine. None of this should have to be changed. Just make sure that these are linked, because if they aren't, it'll make things more complicated. So now I'm just going to click save, so I'm going to choose where to save it on my computer. I'll just choose to save it in the Jobby thumbnails, because that's where I save all my thumbnails. I'll call it something like, by the way, this is an important rave thumbnail for you, obviously. Right, save that there. I don't know, should I show you how to, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna upload the thumbnail on that, so in fact, yes, I'm gonna choose upload video. That's weird, seeing my delayed thing. Oh, you're gonna see that all delayed. That's weird. I'm sure you all know how to upload videos. Don't worry. I don't know if you all know how to customize thumbnails though. Like I don't know. I know some people just like do the random whatever the thumbnail suggestion it gives you. Celebrity Spring. That's what I'm calling this, by the way. I didn't even say that anywhere, but anywhere. Coffin dance in the Parliament. There you go. That's my video. It's hopefully going to be an awesome video, and I hope you guys will enjoy it because I have put quite a lot of work into it. There you go. Coffin dance in the Parliament. I'll just leave that for the moment. And now to upload the thumbnail that we've made, just go to here and Click upload thumbnail. Choose your thumbnail. And there we go, we've got the rave thumbnail. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it wasn't too painful and horrible. But basically, that's my that's how I do thumbnails, and it's pretty much the same each time I try out different things, and I'm always like experimenting in that. But remember, just remember, like, I might leave a link. If you want a link, just tell me to the full piece so you can use that. Okay. Bye. Have a good day. Let me know if you think I should just